Hi, I'm Tim Green, and today I'm going to take a special look at an atomizer that I've had for the last week. It is the Genisis Line by VAM. Now, this is slightly different than the rest of my Repairable Atomiser series, in that this atomizer uses a stainless steel wick. The beauty of that is the improvements that has with the vapour production, but especially the flavour. And I really want to talk about it in a little more detail. The great thing about this is it's a fairly simple device. It's one of those things that it's so simple that pretty much anybody could use it. And I really like it, as you can probably tell. But I will try to remain objective, but my excitement may well get the better of me. So I'm going to vape on a little bit now, and then we'll take a closer look at the construction of it, what you get with it, and we'll take it from there. Produces a great amount of vapour, that, doesn't it? And I can't. Well, the flavour is fantastic, but we'll get onto that in a minute. So let's have a closer look at the Genisis Line. And this is the Genisis Line. I'm just going to take it off my mod. This is the Don in mini mode, and that's got a 16340 battery in there at the moment. Just put that to one side. Now, the line itself is absolutely gorgeously engineered. It's precision engineered. It has some really nice features. All of the threads on this are absolutely fantastic, from the threads in the top cap to the threads in the base. The contacts there at the base, if you hold that up, you can just see those in more detail. Absolutely brilliant. You have a juice windows all the way around, so you can see the level of your juice. You can see I've got a little bit of juice left in there, not a whole heck of a lot, but enough for the moment. And the top cap, if I take the top cap off, now I should say that drip tip does come out, but I'll talk about the drip tip in a minute. And there's the arrangement inside. The threads, as you can see on the top cap, are superb. And you might wonder what that little slit there is. That's actually where you fill the Genisis Line. That's the filling hole. So the way that that's made, you fill it up, put your top cap on. And putting the top cap on basically means, and this is not normally fiddly, there we go, that's just me because I'm looking through the camera. Put the cap on, you put the lid over the filling hole as well, so that doesn't leak at all. I've not had a single leak from this. The only time I've had any liquid coming down the outside of this is when I've primed the wick too much and I've actually just sucked juice right up into the chamber. We'll take a closer look at the contacts and the wick and wire arrangement. Obviously, this black bit here, that's a piece of oxidised stainless steel mesh that's been rolled up to form a wick. The wire there is 0.2 millimeter canthal wire. You can use nichrome wire. I do generally stick with 0.20 millimeter wire, whether I use nichrome or canthal, especially with a Genisis style atomizer, because it's a bit more durable. The contacts here are silver wire, and I'm not talking silver coated, that is silver wire. I know they went to a great deal of pain and trouble to import that so that they could use that. And it's just overall, it's really well made. As you can see from the top there, there's no gaps directly down into the juice. The only way to the juice well underneath is through the filling hole there. Now, this is a sealed one-piece unit, which basically means that there's nowhere for the liquid to go in or out. The only way the liquid's going in or out is in through the filling hole and out through the wick hole. If you take the wick out, you can empty it. Well, talk about emptying it, because that's important. If you need to empty it, you basically need to take apart the wick and wire assembly, pull the wick out, and then you can just shake the liquid out. And that's how you'd also clean it as well. I mean, what I've been doing to clean out any strong tasting juice is to take this whole section out, the wick and wire, and using a syringe, pump water in through here, and then just shake it out. It actually cleans really, really well. It might sound a bit laborious or clumsy doing it that way, but believe me, it's not. It takes a couple of minutes, and that's all. It's a 2mm tank, well, just shy of 2mm. I get about 1.9mm in there. I'm not going to quibble over 0.1mm. And it's absolutely fantastic. The engineering is spot on, and it has been faultless. I'll just set that section down there for a second, and we'll talk about the cap. The cap itself, again, it's as you'd expect. You've got your air hole there, because this is a top coil atomizer, so there is no central ventilation going through the base. It all comes through the air hole here. Drip tip on the top. Now, there have been a couple of people already who've mentioned that they're struggling with the drip tip. Some people have seemed to have struggled with this, the drip tip that comes with it. As you can see, I've got no problem at all putting that in or taking it out. I do occasionally have problems using other tips with it, and so do other people. Now, in fairness to Van, what's happened here is that the drip tips do vary in size. You know, they do vary in size, and that's a point I'm going to prove. But because they vary in size, where do you start? You know, what do you use as your basis for size? I've had drip tips that go into an atomizer, and they've been so loose in that atomizer that they wiggle around. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to show you the difference. I've got two different atomizers there. I've got two different drip tips. I'm going to bring out a third drip tip just to make it all clear. So there's a third one, and I've got some digital verniers here. So I'll turn that on, zero it down, and if I just pop in, this is the tip that comes with it, and that measures at 8.3mm. And I'm not doing I'm not touching the O-rings when I'm doing this. This is straight. Now this is a stainless steel tip, and that's 8.43mm, and another plastic one here. Whoops, get on the tip section, and that's 8.25mm. So you see there's quite a vast range of difference there. This one will probably fit okay in here, and the O-ring will take up the difference, and indeed it does. But this cross-plated steel one if you look, isn't even going to go in. And that pretty much describes my experience of drip tips anyway. I do tend to stick with the drip tip that came with it. These drip tips were bought from in bulk from Health Cabin, and I know that they were used as the model for the drip to the hole for the drip tip, so I'm just going to stick with that. So filling with juice is absolutely easy. You can do it with either a syringe, or I tend to use a bottle with a needle in it just for ease of use. And you just, like so, easy. When you've got the juice amount in that you want, you just put the cap on, and then, I mean, this what I really love about this atomizer is the simplicity. There's two parts. There's two parts to it. There's the cap and the main section. That's it. There's nothing else for you to worry about. So you know, you're using a stainless steel wick that you don't have to repair and replace every single time that you change the coil. Once you've done it, if you keep that wick maintained, if you keep it moist so it doesn't crack, so if you make sure that when you're winding your coil around it, you're not winding the wire tight so it cuts into it, if you just basically look after it, that wick is going to last you for months. So it's just the wire. I would go as far as to say that I mean, every repairable atomizer has a learning curve, and the Genesis style atomizers are no different at all. Once you've got that worked out, and once you've learned how to do it and get it working properly, it doesn't take very long, but then you sort it. And I would go as far as to say that this could be done by a newbie. Somebody without any prior repairable atomizer knowledge could do this very simply. It's that good, it's that simple, it really is. So let's see how it vapes, and we'll talk about the scores in some more detail. So that was a better look at the line. Really simple design and very easy to use. So I'm going to vape it a little, and I'm going to talk about the scores, because I'm sure you'll want to know. Okay. Fantastic. Okay, first thing, scores wise, looks. Well, you tell me. What do you think of that? Personally, I think that is absolutely gorgeous. I've not found a mod yet that it doesn't look good on, even some slightly wackier ones. And I'll show you. I've got the Mantis, white Delrin Mantis, and it actually looks pretty cool on there too. More charging the battery on that one. I've been using the Minidon because the battery's quite small in it, but I like to have a semi-depleted battery about, so you can, I mean, you saw my first looks, you know, that was done on a slightly depleted battery, and that's a slightly depleted battery again on the Minidon, but on a full battery. Speaks for itself, but it looks absolutely fantastic. There's nothing that I put it on, and I've got quite a lot of mods, there's nothing that I put it on that it looks bad on. It's an absolutely gorgeous piece of engineering. It's very well made. It's nice and smooth. It's not too shiny, which is actually great. I can't fault the looks at all. Now, I'm not a person to give 10 for anything, really. Part of my reasoning behind that is that if you give 10 as a score, there's nowhere to go. There's absolutely nowhere to go. What are you going to do? Something, if you actually ever find something that is better, you're going to give it 11? But, so, in that vein, I'm going to give the Genisis line, for looks, a 9. It's a stunning little device. And that about summarizes it as far as looks are concerned. Ease of use. It's a two-part device, cap and base. Filling you do with a needle. Now, some people might not like to use a needle. If you don't like to use a needle or syringe, get one of those bottles with a needle and a cap that goes over the top. Very simple to use. Again, the stainless steel wick is actually probably a bit more daunting in thought than actually doing it. Once you've done it a couple of times, it becomes second nature, and it probably takes me about as long to make a wick and then do a coil and everything else as it does to wind a normal atomizer. Now, recently I took this to a meet-up, the knees meet-up in Newcastle for the North East e-smokers, and I actually rewired the line. Didn't make a wick, but I actually put a new coil on it in about a minute, if that. So it's very, very simple to use, and that's important. That's really, really important, especially with an atomizer like this. It's really important that it is simple to use. I would go as far as to say, as I said before, that I would recommend this to a newbie without hesitation. For ease of use then, because there is a learning curve, slightly more of a learning curve, because you've got to get the oxidization process just right, but it isn't that difficult. But I struggled a little when I first started doing Genesis wicks, but for that reason it is very easy to use, and I'm going to give the line an 8. Flavour. Man, flavour. I would go as far as to say that the flavour on this is as good as dripping. The flavour is incredible. Absolutely amazing. Really full flavour, not too strong, there's no massive nicotine hit. It's just absolutely perfect. Flavour, I would give this a 9. Adaptability. Now, this is a tank atomizer, and it works as a tank atomizer perfectly. Because it's got a drip tip in the top, you could drip into it and vape that way. There'd be no reason why you couldn't. But let's face it, when you're using it as a tank, you're getting the same flavour as when you drip. So why would you drip? Now, because it does one thing, and it does one thing absolutely brilliantly, it doesn't become as adaptable. Now, the adaptable category in my scoring off for devices that do more than one thing, say for example the Mark T, you can drip and you can use it as a tank. So it's adaptable, it's trying to do a couple of things, so that's where this score comes in. The Genisis line does what it does. It is a tank atomizer, and that is what it does. Because of that, I'm going to give it a middle of the road score, and I've done this for other atomizers that are of a similar category, a tank atomizer. I'm going to give it a score of 5. That is not a negative at all. It's just that this is a one-type use device. Simple as that. final category is value for money. Well, I'll be perfectly honest, and I can't remember how much I paid for the Genisis Line now. Part of the reason for that is because originally I ordered 2, and then I changed my mind, and then I ordered this and another one, and I forget how much a single line atomizer cost. That said, we're not talking a phenomenal amount of money. It's certainly comparable to the other atomizers in the series. It's certainly no more expensive than any of the others. It's not £100 atomizer. It's less than £100, which is great. But let's face it, when you get so much satisfaction out of a device and it's so well made, £100 isn't too much to ask anyway. This over time, just like any other repairable atomizer, is going to pay for itself. So they all, to one degree or another, as long as they work, give you good value for money. The line, for me, represents exceptional value for money. It does exactly what you want it to do. The price is reasonable. I find it very, very difficult to fault this device in any way. So I'm going to give this a value for money of 9. So to recap through the scores, I'm going to have a bit more of this first. To recap through the scores, we've got 9 for looks, 8 for ease of use, 9 for flavour, 5 for adaptability, and 9 for value for money. That gives an overall score, an average score of 8, which is absolutely amazing. I mean, in those scores there were 3 9s. It really, for me, can't get better than this. Who knows? It might. Van, I know, is going to be making quite a few more atomizers. There's a lot more in the pipeline. Let's hope it gets better. If it can get better, I'm really excited. We'll just have to wait and see. But for now, the Genisis Line, score of 8, superb. Anyway, I hope you found this of interest. I hope you enjoyed it. If you're interested in getting hold of a Genisis Line, take a look at the UK Vapours forum and look for a thread in the modder section called Genisis Line. You get more information there. I know there are going to be more of these made. There's going to be a second batch, and they're going to go like hotcakes. So if you want one, get in there quick. For now, I'm going to sign off. Thanks very much for watching, and keep on vaping. Bye for now.